The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but we're the ones that encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because if you want to know what's going on the Treasure Coast, you gotta tune in to the Sue-Ellensanders Show. In fact, here she is right now, the one and only Sue-Ellensanders.
Thank you, Cliff, and thank you. I'm so grateful for having the ability to feature some of our community nonprofits and special events that are going on the Treasure Coast, going on our 23rd year here at WPSL, and I'm happy to be able to share all this information with you. It is the cusp of the holiday season where we survived Halloween and now we're full speed ahead toward Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all of the rest of the holidays. And one thing all the holidays have in common are lights. And we have with us today Joan Friedman, the Executive Director of the Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and Barbara Lasher, who is an illuminator with the Garden of Lights. So let's start off by talking about Heathcote's Garden of Lights, because that's coming around right around the corner, and you guys are madly putting the finishing touches on it. Although, Barbara, I understand the Garden of Lights is something that you start planning for immediately when the last one ends.
We do. Usually we give ourselves a week after New Year's.
A little bit of time off.
Yeah, we get a week off. And then we start taking down, and it usually goes down a lot faster than it goes up. So possibly 2 weeks, and we will have it all packed away in that little shed in the back, which is overstocked with all the things that have been here for the 7 previous years and the new things that we've added in addition. But then we start with a wrap-up meeting saying, what worked last year? What do we need to tweak? What do we want to retire? What do we want to look forward to in the next season? Because we want to encourage families to come back and make it a tradition, which many people do. Many people come back and say, we've had our Christmas cards, Christmas photo at Heathcote every year since it's opened. And so we want to share that tradition with them and make it interesting and new things. So we start planning, okay, what do we like? What could we add that would tweak this, that would be of interest to families with their children? What do we have that really could be enlightened? Have we been inspired by something else we've seen? Because
all year round you're looking at what everybody else in the country is doing.
We are. Yeah. And one of the benefits of Heathcote, don't want to step on your toes, but we have a membership there, so we have the opportunity to go to many, many members of the HSA and have reciprocal agreements so that we can look and see what's going on in other places in other parts of the world, in the part of the country, not only Florida, but personally, I went to the Maine Botanical Gardens this summer, and it was a free admission because I had the Heathcote membership.
It's such a plus. And in years past, I've had Heathcote memberships and have been able to go in other places that I'm visiting. That's the first thing I look up is what other botanical gardens are there. If you've just joined us, we're talking to the folks from Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and we led right into the Garden of Lights. However, you may not be aware of Heathcote Botanical Gardens, although it is not any longer so much of a secret. We still refer to it as the gem of the Treasure Coast, the best kept secret. And Joan, as executive director, you have a year-long calendar of activities that includes the Garden of Lights.
Absolutely, Sue Ellen. So thank you. And we are just so excited for our 8th annual this year, Heathcote's Garden of Lights. It will start on Friday, November 25th, promptly at 5:30, and we go till 9 o'clock in the evening, and we will do this for 6 consecutive weeks. The first 4 weeks will be on Friday and Saturday nights. And then the last 2 weeks of our event, because of the calendar, we are going to do it on December 22nd, which is a Thursday night, and do it the 22nd and the 23rd. And then we will do it the following week, which will be December 29th on a Thursday and Friday, December 30th, because of how the holidays come out. But we are just beyond excited to welcome approximately the 3,000 guests a night that come into our beautiful garden and get to witness all these dazzling light displays. And people are mesmerized, and it is just dazzling. So we're excited that we can offer that as a family entertainment, a holiday spectacular. Santa Claus will be there. We will have all kinds of entertainment in the garden, and Heathcote the Bear, where everybody takes their pictures and send them out on their holiday cards. And
I have at least one holiday card with Heathcote the Bear on it.
yes,
So-
absolutely. He's a fabulous addition to the garden.
And your garden is illuminated by a team of volunteers that we were earlier talking to Barbara, and it's something that they work at all year round. They come up with ideas, they come up with plans, and then they figure out a way to make it happen. Barbara, what led you to volunteer for Heathcote? I mean, do you just really enjoy putting up Christmas lights so much that you wanted to do it more?
Well,
Because you can come to my house.
actually, it didn't start out because of the love of the holiday, which I do, but I've been a master gardener for several years, and so I was doing the master gardener program through the St. Lucie County at the extension office, and a friend said, well, you can volunteer at Heathcote because we have to do certain hours to maintain our expertise, and being a master gardener just means you find as many resources and as much networking as you can to learn more constantly. So just stepped in with a friend and started getting involved, and because I feel like it's an opportunity to give back to the community, and because it is a beautiful garden. Not only do you see beautiful flowers, not only do you see, you know, you have the opportunity to network with other people that are knowledgeable about gardens, but there's lots of wildlife in the garden too. And you know, I've seen not only the typical agama and iguana, but we've seen bobcat, we've seen the Atala butterfly, which is really unique to Heathcote Gardens because it was thought to be extinct for a long time, and it had migrated from Cuba to South Florida, but it came up the coast, and I think Mounds Botanical Gardens in West Palm had it first, and then it migrated up here in the last 2 to 3 years maybe.
And
We've
Yes.
had the
and they're
Atala
spotted.
making a home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen the eggs hatch, and the caterpillars are beautiful. So we have a very nice display that gives the story of the Atala, and there's a unique bed that is featured not only during the Garden of Lights. It started at the Garden of Lights last year, but it is becoming a permanent thing here at Heathcote.
What's interesting is when you think about how you decorate for the holidays, perhaps at your house or your business, you know, you would put lights up around the outside of your building and inside your building, maybe around a tree, around a fireplace mantle. But the challenge with Heathcote is you already have all of these beautifully appointed flowers and plants and trees, and so you're not just wrapping lights around any old tree. You have some unique things that you're decorating.
Well, largely when you come into the Garden of Lights, you are seeing lights. The evening garden is not the same as seeing the plants. And we've had several guests say, well, I've never been here through the day. I'm going to have to come back and see what the plants look like. Because realistically, it is a garden that is made out of lights. So many of our things are shrubs, are the representation of a flower, but it is not just wrapping a specific flower that exists already. We have a lot of archways, we do have a lot of things, but we also have replicated them through some recycled materials. We've made our own flower cart, and this year, there are a lot of new things for 22 that are a little different tweak.
Any secrets that you could
Well,
we should watch for when we walk through the garden?
Well, there are things everywhere. We've always had a scavenger hunt for children and families and children of all ages, I must say, because there was one grandmother who came back at the end of the night and she said, I have found all of the animals on the scavenger hunt except, and I'm not going home until I find it. So, Grandma got to find it, but
somebody walked through and gave her a little guidance.
We can direct you, and so we will have the scavenger hunt, and there will be some new things that are in the scavenger hunt for you to look for too. And the docents can probably help you find them if you're really having trouble. But we changed a few things. We've had a very attractive garden cart, which had a French theme. But we happen to be fortunate to have several Latin families or people from Mexico or Colombia. And so I decided that maybe we ought to change things up a little bit. So I did a lot of research on the Flower Festival of Medellin, which is in Colombia. And they also have flower festivals in Mexico where they have absolutely gorgeous hand-created live flower or things that they use and build for a parade. So we're copying that theme and have a couple of surprises in the Latin area. We're using a couple of things that we have not used in the garden. We have a guitar there for the Latin theme to go with the cart. We have lots of, we may be, hopefully one of the newest things that we have is, it will be some gnomes that are guarding our forest or our children's area.
So something new to watch for there too. I'm curious about the people that are part of your Illuminator team, because your background is a gardener. Do you have artists that are also part of the team?
We absolutely love our artists. One of the things that many people in Fort Pierce are familiar with is Anita Prentice, and she has done some fantastic things for the garden. She has a couple of lions that are at the entrance to the walkway to the children's garden, and she has added an absolutely spectacular life-size gorilla this year.
Oh my goodness, I remember seeing something about that. And if you are not familiar with Anita Prentice, she is the mosaic artist who's responsible for most of the mosaic art around town, including the bus benches that are spread out throughout St. Lucie County. So a mosaic gorilla.
You don't have to be an artist to be an illuminator. All you have to do is have a vision. And if you can come up with a design, somebody will help you put it together. We have people who say, I'm not an artist, I can't do this. Well, can you tape something together?
Yes.
Can you plug lights in? Can you use wires to stake path lights in the ground? There are lots of tasks. You don't have to be creative, but we use people in all sorts of capacities.
Do you still need now? This is probably equally talking about the overall volunteer need, because now that the planning is pretty much done and you're decorating, do you still need people to help decorate lights at this time? And of course, you do need people to volunteer to be there for all of these extra hours that the garden will be open.
Well, as you know, this season and the last couple of years, it's been very difficult to find people who were healthy enough or willing to step out. And actually, the Garden of Light started 8 years ago with 8 people and a vision. And we have more than doubled. We
Yeah.
have 19 people helping now.
Yes.
And the reason I look like I do is because we just came from the garden and I was out there working, putting the main bed on the putting that up today, because we want that to be the last thing to go up. But yes, we still have things to tweak, things to put out. We'll be working through Wednesday next week with it opening
So
on
people can
Friday.
still step up and volunteer and be a part of it. And Joan, they can also, even if they didn't help to illuminate the garden, you still need volunteers to help greet people.
Absolutely. Volunteers are such a pivotal role that helps sustain the Garden of Lights. We need at least 25 individuals each night of the 12 nights. And it is very easy to do. We provide training for each individual that comes to help us for whatever night they choose to. They can do that just by going to Heathcote Botanical gardens.org, and you go to volunteer sign up, and it's as simple as that. And then you get a menu of opportunities of what job would you like to have and at what night, and then we will take it from there. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 to sign up. And we will have you come to the garden. You will absolutely love your volunteer time. And we do a good job of making sure that you are well taken care of with water and food and all the other essentials that are needed. But volunteers are very much still required and requested to have Garden of Lights be the success that it is each and every year. And it's our community that makes it happen with their volunteer hours that they put into Heathcote that we are so grateful for.
So just an offside question here is, doesn't your electric bill go up tremendously?
We are so well loved by FPUA. I cannot begin to tell you. I mean, we do get really nice holiday cards and things like that. Yes, we are a big consumer of electricity, and FPUA does applaud us very
Yes,
much over
yes,
the holidays,
yes.
for sure.
So is there a price for people who are coming to the garden?
Absolutely. So we try to make it as family friendly as possible. So kids 6 through 12 are just $3. Anybody under 6 is free. So bring the kiddies out. Non-members are $10 per person, and then for membership has its benefits. It's $5 per person. It's an enchanted evening of holiday splendor that you get to spend with your family and make beautiful memories. And again, Santa Claus will be there to help you plan your Christmas gift wishes. So please come out and visit us as soon as you are able to. Again, it is starting on Friday, November 25th, and we run through December 30th, and it is on Friday and Saturday nights the first 4 weeks, and then Thursday and Friday nights the last 2 weeks of December.
And you can get all the dates on their website and also through their social media. I know that you have Facebook, and
Yes, we do.
you can check out the information about both Heathcote Botanical Gardens itself and on the Garden of Lights as well. But keep in mind, especially if you have family in town for Thanksgiving weekend, that you can, this is when it kicks off. You can just work that into your schedule. You can either come before you go out somewhere or following, depending on the ages of your children. But you mentioned that members get the perk of it being a lesser expensive ticket. What you might consider is using this as the catalyst to sign up for membership. With the holidays right around the corner, what greater gift that you could give a member of your family And actually, there's family memberships you can get too. Let's go ahead and take a little aside here and talk about the memberships and the
Absolutely.
benefits of being a member for Heathcote Botanical Garden.
My
While you're
pleasure.
looking for that information and pulling it out, Joan will just talk a little bit more about the garden itself.
Sure.
And all year round, what are the advantages to having a membership with Heathcote?
The membership is so well worth it. First of all, the membership in Heathcote is one of the least expensive that you can purchase throughout all of the reciprocal gardens that are part of the 385 reciprocal gardens that exist in the United States.
And remember what we discussed about reciprocal gardens. You buy the membership here and you can go visit the gardens wherever you might be.
That is absolutely correct. So there are about 45 in Florida alone. But no matter what state you are visiting, you will find a botanical garden that is going to give you free or reduced admission. Like I said, it starts at $45. You can do a family membership, which includes 2 adults and 2 children, and that is $65. This is for 1 full year of entertainment that is in so many different locations with so many different opportunities of seeing different things, because each garden has its own personality. And as we're all in this reciprocal program together, we like to highlight our other botanical garden partners and have them sign in books so we know, from what garden they're coming from and vice versa. So it's a very family-oriented way. There are higher levels of membership that anybody can find out about at heathcotebotanicalgardens.org. But I would highly suggest giving this as a great holiday gift. It's the gift that just keeps on giving. And people will be amazed at the value to what you can do for such a small amount of money.
And you mentioned the other levels of membership, and I'll just point out that there is a business membership, and some of the levels of business membership include the ability to have events at the garden, which is an awesome extra perk to do. That you could do a employee picnic or something.
Another little ad here. Heathcote has a gift shop, and so for holiday shopping, if you are looking for something, I was looking very specifically for a wind chime for my son and daughter-in-law a couple of years ago, and I had looked several places and walked into Heathcote gift shop and said, "Do you have any?" And they had the exact thing that I was looking for. And so as not only a remembrance of your visit, but with holiday gifts time coming up, you might find a little treasure in the gift shop too.
If I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, that with your membership you do get a little bit of a perk in the gift shop as well.
Correct, 10%.
Yeah. So
it is a 10% discount in the gift shop, which is always nevertheless, it takes care of taxes or any other things. And we try to make sure that your package looks presentable. So we have some pretty tissue paper. We have some pretty bags that you can give it out in. We try to make the experience a one-stop shop so that you can purchase those holiday gifts for your friends and family as you visit Heathcote.
And when you're coming over the holidays, you could purchase the membership and be prepared and then go ahead and get the discount.
Correct.
As you come to the Garden of Lights and find out all the information about the Garden of Lights. So it starts the Friday and Saturday night right after Thanksgiving and then goes all the way through the holiday period, and you can get all of those dates specific to it. Friday and Saturday night, November 25th through the 17th. And Thursdays and Friday nights from December 22nd up until December 30th, the day before New Year's. And of course, 5:30 to 9 o'clock, again, like I said, gives you the opportunity. You could either come check it out on your way to somewhere else that you may be going, or on your way home, or you could make that your destination for that night. But it's something fun to enjoy with friends and with family, and it's something that is unique. If you've kind of outgrown the old pile everybody in the back of the car and drive around looking for lights, and you want something where everybody can do their own thing and walk around together, it's a awesome opportunity. And I can't believe this is just the 8th year, because it just seems like it's been part of our family tradition for so long.
It really does seem that way to many people because they have been creating those memories for 8 wonderful years that Heathcote has been providing this. I also want to share that not only will Santa be on the schedule and Heathcote the Bear, but we have some wonderful regulars like our wood turners who make tops right in front of the families and the children, and they're all given a top that they can spin, and the wood turners show just what they can do on that lathe, and it's just a wonderful way to show what we're able to do with just a piece of wood, a machine, and the creativeness of what people bring to it. We will be having food trucks this year in the garden with kind of multi-range of all different groups of food that will be coming out periodically over each weekend. And we hope that we will get some favorites, and we'll make sure that those get invited back next year. And we will also be having a Coca-Cola booth where we'll be sharing all of the Coca-Cola products, as they are now a business sponsor to Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and they are providing some goodies to give away as well.
Kind of goes with the polar bear, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. And the other thing that has been so wonderful about the Garden of Lights, it's because it is so well received and attended as a big event here in St. Lucie County. There are so many businesses and individuals that offer their sponsorship to our event so that we can make it brighter and more glorious and more entertaining, as having entertainment each night of the Garden of Lights, so that they can dance and they can sing holiday songs and have dinner out there if they so choose, or go to one of our beautiful restaurants downtown. But it is just a great way to bring that holiday spirit and to show the fun that we have living in paradise and visiting Heathcote Botanical Gardens.
It is always fun and an adventure. And you mentioned the reciprocal gardens and how each garden has their own personality. Let's talk for a little bit about the personality that Heathcote has. If you were someone who was visiting from somewhere else and you were telling them about our garden before they got there, and Barbara, please join in the conversation too, because I know you're familiar with it. How would you, not just during the holidays, but all year long, describe our garden?
Well, I think it's very unique. It may be small but mighty. We're a 5-acre garden, and you'd think, how much can you see in a 5-acre garden? Well, one of the largest collection of, the largest public collection of bonsai is credited to Heathcote from John Smith's collection, which was donated. And I believe, if I'm close to accurate, we have approximately 140 trees.
That is
one
correct.
One of which is thought to be about 200 years old. The mother tree of all, which it won't be lit, but it is in the garden. We just are taking care of it so that they
Yes.
can continue to propagate. But we have a couple of very dedicated volunteers whose expertise is in wrapping those trees to lighten and brighten that area. And I've personally met dozens of people who came to Heathcote specifically because they've heard of the collection. In fact, just as a little aside, a couple of years ago at the garden in Epcot, when they had their garden
Festival.
Yes.
we went up. Heathcote sent a plant up there for display, and having walked through the bonsai garden here, it's a multi-path, and it's lots of things to read because there's so many different varieties of trees, and they're so well taken care of by our curator. And I was looking for a very large collection of bonsai up at Epcot, and walked past this area 2 or 3 times because I was told, that it was between the Irish pavilion and this other area, and walked past, and there were 4 trees. And I'm going, oh my.
We win. Yes.
That's nothing compared to what we have to offer. So
That's a funny story, and I can remember experiencing something similar the first time that I was at SeaWorld after I'd gone to the Manatee Center, and people were all raving about, some of the displays at the Manatee Center, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you should see the Fort Pierce Manatee Center.
That's good.
Because there are some things that we here on the Treasure Coast, especially in St. Lucie County, excel at. We're so very good at. There are specialties, and bonsai, did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
I had somebody coming in, I think it was back in the days when Amy Dahan was there, and she went over it with me to make sure I said it correctly. The collection is one of the most infamous, but in addition to that, you mentioned it's 5 acres, but it's small but mighty, and so you have curated every last square foot of that.
That is correct.
I mean, not particularly the two of you, but you all as Heathcote.
Yes. And so Heathcote has a beautiful path, and each pathway kind of secretly brings you to another garden. So you'll start out, and our bonsai collection, by the way, is the largest collection in the United States of tropical and subtropical
Oh,
bonsai.
my goodness.
So
So,
it's
yeah.
our claim to fame, and we shout it from the rooftops as often as anybody allows us to. And then we have right around the corner from that a reflection garden that is just it's a pool of circular water, and it gives you a place to sit and reflect and just really come to a place of happiness, and that's what we hope for. And there's all kinds of good mojo around that specific garden. And then you kind of continue down the pathway of the east side of the garden, and you're going to find some really incredible tropical plants and some Swiss cheese monstera that is almost as big as I am, and I am 5 feet tall and 5'4" actually. And there are some incredible specimens there. And as you continue, then we have a Japanese garden with a newly renowned koi pond with several koi pond fish that are utilizing this new waterfall koi pond area with a bridge. It is very, very simplistic, like the Japanese culture that uses gravel. And we actually have a natural predator process so that the koi are left in safety with something called a shishi adoshi. This is 2 pieces of bamboo that has water streaming through it that comes and hits rocks and the gravel on the ground to scare any predators away from our beautiful koi
What
fish.
kind of predators would
We have a lot of
attack
visitors in the garden. Some might be raccoons, some could be different cats, or there could be a variety of things. But it's the raccoons mainly that are the predator of the koi fish. But though that simplistic, I think that was created in the 12th century, that shishi adoshi.
And it works.
And it works.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. And then we have the Heathcote house. That house is now sitting at over 100 years old. And today, of all days, the young lady, her name is Carol Herzog, who grew up in that house, was celebrating her 87th birthday today in the garden. She grew up in that house,
my.
which was on Delaware Avenue. So it is very special. It has a lot of meaning for Heathcote. for the people and the families that created this beautiful garden through all of its historical beginnings as a nursery here in Fort Pierce, and then the Crimmins who kind of brought it to life as a botanical garden. And then as you keep walking down the path, you'll find the Bud Adams put in a replica of a pioneer house, and in there we have all kinds of historical tools that were used as the pioneers were coming to plant for the citrus industry. Just so much living history that resides right at that property on Savannah Road. And then we have our illustrious children's garden as well.
Well, before you leave the Pioneer House, one of the vignettes that is lighted, we have presented a vegetable garden as a pioneer family might, and it sits by the Pioneer House. It has its own grape arbor, has some strawberry plants. These are all made out of lights. These are not edible. They're not for sale.
Yeah.
Although sometimes, funny story aside, when we had a basket of flowers that were lit, got a little sign, and it had prices for the plants. And one guy had walked past with a girlfriend and came running back, and he goes, "Can I really buy that bouquet of flowers for $10?" I'm going, first of all, they're not real. Second of all, they're not for sale. So the vegetables, so the vegetables in the Pioneer Garden are not edible. However, as I mentioned earlier, you will find some surprises in the garden, like some wildlife. And last year, some of the families that walked through the rainforest actually got an extra funny video of a little raccoon who had found some ripe bananas, and he happened to be sitting eating away on the bananas as they walked through the garden, and he didn't bother anybody, but I think he and some babies are back this year.
So they could be
Yes.
visiting, so you never know what you could see. And as you walk through the garden, what you talked about the reciprocal in each of the gardens being a little bit different, but also our very own garden, Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and as well Port St. Lucie Botanical Gardens, because now we have one on Port St. Lucie Boulevard. Each season, as much as there are a change of seasons in Florida, each summer and then fall, winter, and then spring has different things that you can notice in the garden that change as well.
Absolutely. So we try to respect the seasons. They might not be as apparent as we might have seen in our past of growing up.
Or in movies for
or
me.
in movies for those of you who lived in Florida all your life. But we try to be thinking about those plantings, those colors that you would see in the springtime, in the fall, and what those look like. And we try to represent that throughout the seasonal calendar at Heathcote. And it is something that we pay very specific attention to. Sometimes the plants can be a little bit challenging to get, but we do our very best to have them planted in the garden so that people can have that memory or that scent of what they remember. What does fall smell like? Well, we can't actually bring back all the changing leaves and things of that nature, but we try to replicate the colors through the patterns of different plants and flowers and what we can offer. So it's just always delightful that we try to keep up with that.
One of the perks of having a membership, but also the perks of just having Heathcote Botanical Gardens in town, is the ability to have special events and to take photographs there. If you have like a family photo opportunity, or a wedding, or engagement photos, or anything that you want to have, that you want a beautiful setting, or just your regular family photos that you want to share with friends up north, and maybe you don't even have to tell them that it's at Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and they can just have envy that your backyard looks like this.
Yes, it is quite something, and people do come and they do take a lot of photos. We have a specific type of photography membership for those that love to continually bring different friends and family into the garden. We also offer one of the things that the garden is growing importantly is the ability to utilize this backdrop as a wedding venue, as a baby shower venue, as a venue for large parties. We are having holiday parties and places where you want to bring your business associates and have an evening of beauty and celebration. We are offering this now at Heathcote. We have parking, we have security, and we have many different people that we can offer to you as ways that will help create whatever magnificent event that you're trying to have at Heathcote. So just visit our website at heathcotebotanicalgardens.org, and it will tell you all about our events that you can have and have the garden to yourself for your special occasion.
One of the other things that you'll find on the website for Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and you'll find all year long, are things like workshops and classes where you can learn about either the plants at Heathcote or about something that is near and dear to what goes on in the garden. I know that in the past there's even been a summer camp for kids there.
Yes.
So tell us what is going on. I know you have a calendar that generally features the different workshops people can sign up for.
Absolutely. So we are very excited that we've gotten into a partnership with an artist cooperative here in Fort Pierce. And we are very excited. Our first one starts tomorrow, November 17th, in our pavilion, and we're going to be doing a bonsai paintings, and we're very excited. This will be our first offering. We will be doing an offering once a month with this artist collaborative, and you can visit our website and find out what the classes are going to be about. We also do tours every week, and if you want to learn more about the bonsai or any of our botanical collections or any of the flora and plants that we have at Heathcote, it would be a great thing if you would like to come out on our guided tours that we do. I believe it's on Wednesday. I think it's about 11 o'clock. But check our website for that specific information. And what we're always expected to do is our bonsai classes. Those we do at different levels, some at beginner and some at intermediate. And we have our curator, Tom Kehoe, who leads these classes. And we try to do that about 4 or 5 times a year. They fill up very fast. And
so
everybody,
people can actually learn how to grow and maintain a bonsai.
that is correct. And the tools that are needed to do that, because there are a lot of tools that are part of the process of nurturing and growing a bonsai. Yes.
How about classes and workshops for other ages?
Yes. Okay. So each year now we are partnering with the Children's Service Council, and through some grant dollars that are distributed to local places of interest, such as Heathcote, we open up the opportunity to come into Heathcote for a summer camp. So other youth-serving organizations that have the ability to host kids over the summer, they then make the ask to Heathcote, and we offer different types of classes. It could be about food to table, and what we grow in the garden and how do we prepare that. It could be about pioneering. How did they make butter? And we make butter, and we
And
show
you have
them
the
that.
Pioneer House that's all set
Yes,
to show them.
absolutely.
And I know that there's been composting workshops in the
Yes.
past too. And then also, if I remember, and I know that workshops change every year, but there was also making art from recycled materials.
Yes, That is true. I know that our illuminators have spent a lot of time with workshops and inviting individuals to creating those flowers that we did in the recycled bed. And we have basically, I think we've offered that like once a month throughout the season of Garden of Lights. Did we do that this year as well?
We didn't offer it as a public workshop. We did do
Okay.
some things because this will be the third year that we've used recyclable, and at one point it was on off the main lawn, and it was representing in in imitation of a variety of flowers that you would see in nature. So leaves were all made from either tin, the aluminum from your tin cans, or your soda cans, and even your water bottles. We recycled and made into flowers to represent buttercups and hibiscus and passion vine, and
How
painted them.
exciting that is.
So the first year we did it as a bed of flowers. And this last year, and again this year, we have done a vertical wall, which is a representation of a living wall. You might see it down on Worth Avenue, I believe. They have a living wall. And
So
several...
is it like vines climbing the wall type of thing?
It imitates that,
Okay.
because these are out of the recycle,
Right,
but we
right.
we would have to continue if we were using real plants, to
No,
water and
I-
grow.
the
So-
imitation of that.
So it's the
and
imitation of
replicate.
that,
Yeah.
but with the educational purpose of recycling, letting people know you can do something that's unique, it's repurposed, and so that will be returning, but with a little bit different color scheme this year than it has been in the past. But
How fun.
yeah.
And I know one of the other big things that Heathcote is always famous for is their plant sales.
Yes.
So you just had one past, your fall plant sale.
We did just have the most people that we've ever had come through the door for our fall plant sale. Our walk-through traffic went up over 200%, and I proudly say that we welcomed 2,800 people to Heathcote Botanical Gardens this year for our fall festival and plant sale. It was wonderful. It was jam-packed, and everybody had a fabulous time.
And of course, the plants that are on sale are from different area gardeners and plant nurseries. And so when you go and you buy the plant, they also tell you how to take care of it.
Absolutely, and that is something that we had done. We're getting very technology savvy, so every plant that we sold had a QR code,
I love it.
and it
Yeah.
told you how to care for
Yeah.
that particular plant. And then, of course, we also talk a lot about propagation. We do have a propagation area in our garden, and a lot of the plants that we do sell are propagated right on the property at Heathcote Botanical Gardens.
That's awesome. And we still have alive, I might proudly add, a triple ponytail palm that we have in our front yard. That is very unique and obviously pretty hard to kill because it's still surviving in my yard. But there's a lot of times people will put the plant sales on their calendar to plan to come for the weekend, because not only do you get such a variety of what is out there for the fall and then again in the spring, but you also get the directions via QR code now. That's so great. And you also get some very well priced plants as well.
Yes, we do price them out, and they're very easy on the pocketbook, as
They're
I
very-
like to say.
they're very
and
affordable.
everybody enjoys it. Yes.
I think you'll find quite a variety, being a shopper for plants over the years, because we've been here full time just 3 years, so I've redone quite a bit of my landscape, but you'll find propagation is one of the easiest ways to increase your plants, and then donating them to the plant sale or to the extension office, you get a lot of variety. But if you've looked at prices at the big box stores now, they have tripled or quadrupled even in price. So it's nice to get healthy plants from the garden.
From the source, yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
What are the dates? Do you have dates set for your spring plant sale yet?
I always
Or do we know about what month?
it is going to be in October. It is generally the second weekend in October.
And is there a spring one as well?
We are not planning on
You're
doing
okay.
a spring
So
one.
just next year in October to mark it on your calendar.
Yes, please.
So lots of fun stuff that's going on. I wanted to get back to the Garden of Lights because this show runs on the radio the weekend after we record it, of course. So as you're listening to it, the following weekend, the weekend right after Thanksgiving, Friday and Saturday night, that's the first weekend of the Garden of Lights at Heathcote Botanical Gardens, and you'll have an opportunity from November 25th all the way through December 30th on specific nights to visit between 5:30 and 9:30 at night. Joan, you want to give us some more information about where Heathcote is located off US 1?
Absolutely. So we're at 210 Savannah Road in Fort Pierce. We are right off US 1. So if you're coming from the north, you would then make your left or going east on Savannah Road. And if you're coming from the south, you would make the right-hand turn on US 1 to get on Savannah Road. We will have parking, and there will be all kinds of lights to indicate where and how you need to enter the Garden of Lights. We do see, like I said, thousands of people a night, and we want it to be a safe and friendly and joyous evening for all families to attend.
So you can stop by for the Garden of Lights starting the weekend right after Thanksgiving. Bring the family, bring your friends, bring your neighbors, and just a nice little evening out. And kind of a nice kickoff to the holiday season and checking out the lights. Heathcote Botanical Gardens is available on all year round. You can come and visit all year round, and you can get a membership. That would be a great idea for a holiday gift. And we talked about all of those things today, but you could get all this information, well, and not all of it, because you wouldn't get our little personal asides, through the website and the social media at heathcotebotanicalgardens.org. Joan and Barbara have been my guests today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you all at the Heathcote Botanical Gardens of Light this year. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week with more.